Hello everybody, I'm the Crimson DM and welcome back to Crimson Plays Craft the World. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't exactly remember much of what happened last episode other than me trying to poorly explain how the game works and what I'm doing in it. And as you can see, not a whole awful lot has changed from last time. In fact, the little series I'm doing on this right now is mostly just to show the core concept of the game, and I'll pick it back up later with more videos. As much as I love this game, there are a lot of other games I would love to play as well, and I also have the attention span of, oh hey, look at that, something shiny. But yeah, I do love this game, and I wanted to show off a little bit about it, and this part is still mostly intro stuff. As you can see, I just discovered there's a tech tree in this one, which, and I say in this one because I think I don't understand something important about the game, as my last save file had a completely different way of getting items, or unlocking new recipes, I should say. In the last game I was doing, it was if I did so many activities, I would unlock a new kind of random thing, it felt like. In this one, I need to do so many things in a certain category to unlock the next category. Kind of like leveling up your skills in Elder Scrolls, or Elder Scrolls. I know there's other games that do it, but I was gonna say Fallout, and then I realized, oh yeah, Fallout didn't do that. Fallout had a really, well, in my opinion, a really great, mildly complicated leveling system for games 3 and 3.5. Fallout also had a complicated system for leveling up in games 1 and 2, which, by the way, I still haven't beat the second game. I'll probably do a Let's Play on that at some point, because it is truly an amazing experience to see the game and to find out that there was a lot of things I used to value not seeing in video games, or holding rules of what games should do, only to see what happens when people don't follow the rules and do it well. But that's a discussion saved for the actual game itself, which will have some trigger warnings, as obviously Fallout is not a friendly game. It's not a socially friendly game. It is pretty unfriendly in some ways. This game, however, is actually really friendly in most ways. I mean, so long as you're not, activist for skeletons or zombies or anything like that. And if you are, well, you're not exactly alive, so I don't think you have any rights. Unless you're, I don't know, a skelephile? Yeah, skelephile. That sounds disgusting. What would you even do there? I don't want to know, actually. I really, really don't want to know. I also think I'm going down the same line of thought as probably the entire thought process that created the original two worlds. And although I love that game, it is a travesty. So, as you can see, I'm actually just building some furniture. And the reason I'm building furniture is because I want to make my little dwarves' home nice and friendly. I'll admit that I've never had a friendly home for my dwarves before. Like, I'm usually really lazy about the way I make their little hidey holes. But I want the end goal of this place, this level, to be that I put a lot of thought, effort, and work into making them and their little home. I want it to be a nice little home. Kind of like how you would imagine your dwarf fortress looking in Dwarf Fortress if you could see anything other than asterisk keys. And now that I leveled up, you can actually see in the top right corner where the that skull, it's actually counting down. And it's counting down to the first wave of monsters that'll come at the end of it. And the cool thing about this game is, like I had said, it's a little bit of a tower defense. So you're actually building up your fortress and trying to survive. A wave of enemies about every hour. And the waves just get stronger and more powerful and more menacing as you go on. Of course, back when I was actively playing this, 4 or 5 years ago maybe, the waves of enemies stopped becoming a threat pretty quickly. I like to imagine now that it's no longer in beta and it's actually a full game and has been for quite some time, they have fixed that error. That it has become a devastating, it will become a devastating fight. And if the last time I played this, when I saw boss fights and everything, well, mini boss fights, are any indication, then I can expect this game to get really intense by the time you get to the end of whatever world you're on. And that's not even including the fact that you're going to have to deal with some really crazy stuff in the later worlds, I assume. I did actually manage to get all the way to the second world once, which is probably about 10 to 20 hours of gameplay, depending on how slow it is for you to learn how everything works in this. And because I didn't want to ask for a lot of help, it was a slow and painful process for me. I still love this game and what the developers did with it, and I would like to see what they come up with in the future. I would hope they come up with another game, like an actual sequel to this, that's bigger and better and maybe not just about dwarves. Like, it'd be pretty cool if they decided to give access to other races, like maybe humans, elves, goblins. Put a goblin on your team. Actually, can we just have a game where you're taking care of a goblin horde and they have to eat garbage or something? Or maybe garbage is not healthy for them, but they will eat it if you're not watching them and giving them food from some other source, so you actually have to manage your food resource, or they will give themselves diseases. Sounds like a really good game of D&D, but I would love to have a game where you're taking care of a goblin horde, and you're just taking care of their home and trying to build them up, and then go on raids against the human settlements and take them down, steal all their food and their shinies. Speaking of shinies, that's one thing I don't think they do in this game very much. Like, I have 3 little gold coins. You can see it in the top left next to my little number of dwarves, which is 5 right now, and how much mana I have. I got 3 gold coins. But you don't get a lot of money in this. And as dwarves, shouldn't you be building a massive treasure hoard? And getting your own Arkenstone or something? Like, I think that would be really cool. I would really enjoy that. Of course, there's already a game out there like that, and it's called Dwarf Fortress. And you don't just get your own Arcane Stones, you make your own Arcane Stones. Which is really neat when it works. Because Dwarf Fortress is one of the most difficult games I've ever seen. Not in terms of learning to... Not in terms of once you know it, you can survive, but the learning curve is so impossibly steep. Unfortunately, this game is also a bit of a slow one, and if they haven't fixed it yet, it does have one slight issue. And the issue can be severe when you're trying to play fast. There's no speed up button as far as I know. And to be fair, Dwarf Fortress has the same exact problem. It's worse in Dwarf Fortress as that game is so unbelievably system intensive that you're likely to be lagging the entire time and not even know it. And you can't fix that by fast forwarding the game. In this game, there's not that much lag. Even if you have a pretty light system, you should be able to play this and be just fine. And if I ever do my stream of Dwarf Fortress, you will see that it almost doesn't make sense why the game lags so badly. But thankfully, I got a computer that can run it really well. I've never seen frame rates so high on that game. It's almost like the game is playable. And I'm still working towards building my stuff. You can actually see at the top, right above the crafting screen, there's a little experience bar that shows how much of whatever I gotta make before I level up to the next thing. And right now I'm just trying to make as much iron stuff as I can so I can level up. Because if I can level up to the next stuff, I can get traps. And you might be wondering, why would you want traps? Well, in case you didn't know it already, there's a horde coming in 40 minutes. And that horde will destroy me if I'm not prepared. Like, I almost universally, by almost I mean every time I've played the game, so not almost, but you know, every time I play the game, when that horde shows up, it ruins everyone. Like, I'm lucky if I can have one or two dwarves survive long enough that the sunlight will kill the skeletons and stuff. But everyone dies. That's just kind of how it happens. And I've gotten better at this. I have gotten a lot better at this. But that does not mean that I will do any good in surviving. We'll see. We'll see how I handle, or how I hold up. You might be wondering why I blocked off that area. Well, I realized in my last game, not my last episode, but my last game, that if you have a corner block that is free, things like those plants that you can kind of almost see at the bottom of the screen, snails, mushrooms, other nasty gooby gobbies, will get into your base and just contaminate it and fill it up, and it's really annoying. I think spiders are probably like one of the most annoying things because they just leave a mess everywhere. And no one wants a mess in their base. No one wants a mess in their dwarf fortress. Or, I mean, I guess it is a dwarf fortress, even though that's not the name of the game, right? But no one wants a mess in their dwarf fortress. I must be really interested in that one little dwarf. I should rename him Jeffers. Because Jeffers is the best name. I think it's this episode, but we might see a really neat little thing that they added to the game that I think just gives it a whole lot of little depth. And might even have some future complications if not taken care of like I did. Yay! I think I can build doors now. I can build doors now. I have unlocked the ability to put a door in front of my base. If this was Minecraft, I would be in trouble. Or, well, maybe not too much trouble considering that this is still a dirt house. Just an extravagant dirt house. Speaking of Minecraft, we'll get to that in a second. I want to explain that the way I put my doors there is kind of important. The future plan is to lay a bunch of traps between those two doors, forcing my enemies to go through a gauntlet of pain and injury. Hopefully, killing the big number of them before I have to send my little guys out to go attack, because that's always a bad idea. Or at least it used to be. I don't know if they've improved combat since the last time I played this, but it's usually a bad idea to just have your dwarves go and attack an army of skeletons. You don't have enough dwarves, and they don't have enough supplies, or defense, or weapons, and you usually don't have enough beds for them to sleep in when they get injured, so they can't heal fast. Rain! Oh yeah, I see what I was doing there. I hadn't started a stone mine, and in case you were able to pay attention more than I am, apparently, probably because it's 4 a.m., while I'm recording this, it's 4 a.m., but I was trying to get some stone items built, because stone items like pickaxes, really simple stuff. Oh no, goblins. Ah, I hate goblins. I'm so glad that I was able to catch them before they actually got to the crap.
Uh-oh.
So you're actually going to get to see me use the sign. The sign is not as useful as I want it to be usually. Sorry, just yawning. Super early in the morning and all. Goblins. You can see they already kicked the crap out of one of my dwarves, and he refuses to fight because now he's scared of death. But I won the skirmish. And that's always good. I really hate how goblins can just walk through your front door. I don't think that's fair at all. I think the goblins should have to get stuck at the front door just like all the other monsters. But then again, goblins' goal is to raid you, not, you know, kill and destroy everything you stand for. They want your stuff. There, the sign. Now what does the sign do, you ask? Well, if it works like it used to, the sign will stop my dwarves from going over to them, which I know it does, but it'll also stop them from coming to me. And I don't know if that works because it turns out I killed the entire raiding party, so I did good. just working on my little stone mine, because stone is going to be very valuable, especially once I start getting stone walls. Because I want my dwarves to feel like they have a nice house and get the little headpiece from being yellow to being green. And I don't think I've ever had a green I still don't know what that thing's called. It's a little monument or something. It's whatever the thing that lets a dwarf have a house. And then I'm just killing a chieftain, who as far as I know doesn't attack back. And then I'm destroying their little base, which takes forever. Destroying someone's structure is a very long process. But it's a very useful one, as it gets them out of the way and out of my hair. I do not want dwarves in my... I don't want goblins in my hair. Dwarves will probably just give me more hair with all their beards, but goblins... who wants a goblin in your hair? They're stinky, they don't clean, they eat garbage, so they're going to be leaving stuff in your hair that's disgusting. And their hair is probably just going to turn greasy. It's like, no thank you, I like my hair being not greasy. As you see, I'm trying to just cut down a bunch of trees because I realize that the deadline is getting closer and closer to when I have to actually contend with those evil villains. And probably watch all my dwarves die. I don't want all my dwarves to die. It sucks and it makes me feel bad. And even if it makes me feel like I just witnessed some Game of Thrones styled storytelling, I don't want my dwarves to all die. And there goes my pickaxes. Unfortunately, building the pickaxes at this point is not going to level up that skill. Its sole purpose is to just make my dwarves a little better. Farrar, Gordon, Tarim, and Tarin. I'm naming the dwarves off. And Doofer. Oh, and Rorin. I hate to admit it, but these are just like really bad kind of rip-offs of J.R. Tolkien names, which I don't like that anyways, but that's their name right now. I can't really, well, I can change it, but I'll have to do that in the future. I'll do that. I'll change them. Maybe I'll just name them after all the characters from Steven Universe. I mean, I'm probably not going to exceed the amount of dwarves that there are people in that town, right? And I'll say this, it's not usually a wise decision to be collecting resources in the middle of the night, but another yawn. I'm exhausted. And this coffee is not helping. It's not useful to, it's not a good idea to be digging in the middle of the night. But I've been, if you've been seeing the rainwater pouring into my base, there is clearly a little problem going on, and I needed to create a lake. Speaking of which, there's another game I'd love to play on this channel, and the name is absolutely hilarious because its connotations now and its connotations back then were probably not the the safest, even though it has nothing to do with its name. Oh, well, maybe I'll tell you more about that secret puzzle game in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and adios.